Hi, I've been thinking about making this video for a very long time, but due to its highly controversialness, I have not done it. But with Sea of Thieves coming to a new platform and therefore a large influx of new players, potentially, I thought it would be necessary to talk to you guys about the importance of PvP in the PVPVE environment that is in Sea of Thieves. Now, I know that that's a very controversial statement. So before we rush down to the comments and freak out about toxic PvPers and all of that, let's back up a few steps and talk this out like grown-ups. And if you're a 12-year-old in Sea of Thieves, listen. So, number one, PvP isn't for everyone, and that's fine. So, Sea of Thieves was designed to create a shared world of pirates with different types of playstyles and experiences. Sometimes we get clouded by all the hardcore PvPers downplaying the PvP enthusiasts and vice versa, and we lose sight of the fact that people tend to gravitate towards blowing up those types of negative encounters through social media. Mainly because that's what gets views and that's what gets people to interact with it. So you're going to see a lot more of those like slurry negative types of PvP encounters all over the internet, right? You've seen it. I'm sure you have. PvP encounters that are positive don't typically get blown up on the internet. You know, people can post them, but they're not going to get as much attention as those more intense, potentially borderline inappropriate conversations. Now, from my experience as a mainly PvPVE player, meaning I play a fair balance of both in the game, I try and enjoy all the aspects of Sea of Thieves, whether it's the PvE part or the PvP threat part. I can fairly say that I have encountered some pretty awful people on the Sea of Thieves. But I've also encountered plenty of awesome, really cool individuals. It's just the nature of having an open communication available on the seas that gives people the ability to converse in a way that just doesn't happen in any other game. And I'll touch on that later in this video. Some people are just at a place in their life that they want to take out their frustrations and anger and problems on others on the internet. And for some people, that outlet is Sea of Thieves. Now, it's important to remember that Sea of Thieves is about the adventure you have with the game, not just the loot and the gold that you turn in. However, Rare has released Safer Seas, so if PvPVE isn't your jam, you are welcome to play in a PvE private world that is Safer Seas. Now, you get reduced earnings in Safer Seas because non-player related risks means less rewards. And if you can't win a fight against a scaly ship, you need to learn how. Simple as that. Now, before we begin talking about PvP and how it's an essential life force within Sea of Thieves and the longevity of Sea of Thieves, I want to address the pirate code. This is posted on every single tavern in Sea of Thieves. Article number 1, the sea calls to us all. Everyone is welcome on the Sea of Thieves, regardless of age, gender, race, sexuality, nationality, or creed. In other words, be a good human and be nice to others. Stealing loot tactfully and with skill is not against the code. calling other people pee-pee poo-poo heads while doing it is. Article number 2. The sea unites us as one community. Outside of the heat of battle or piracy on the high seas, all crews shall bond together as a community of like-minded souls. In other words, we all love the pirate game. So stop sending hate and get crapped on your mom sucks messages to people through Xbox Messenger and Discord. Article number 3. Disputes are settled upon the waves. None shall quarrel or overly dissent against another crew, but let every engagement be settled by sword, pistol, and good seamanship. In other words, all fights should be GG's and clean and appropriate bantering, like, dude, good fight, you almost had us, GG's. Article number 4, all crewmates are equal. Let each crewmate be respected as equal and free to follow their own bearing, speak openly, and vote in affairs of the voyage. I think this has a lot more to do with open crew experiences, which I have very little experience with. But essentially, help people who need help and be kind to players of all different skill level and experience. Article number 5, the crew bond is sacred. Those who betray their crew and ship through griefing or trolling shall be sent to the brig. In other words, the ability to vote people into the brig. Although I've never been sent to the brig as a troll myself, I have been sent to the brig because my crew is trolling me. So we'll just skip this one. Article number 6. Respect new pirates and their voyage ahead. May the old legends help to forge new ones, treat new pirates with respect, and share your knowledge. With PS5 coming and the continuing flow of new pirates that come to Sea of Thieves, this one is the most important for people, especially those who love PvP. After enough sailing under your belt, you're going to meet new players. Help them. Be kind to them. Form an alliance with them. Share your earnings and your winnings. And, this is important, let them know that the next time you see them, it'll be war. Because you can only handhold for so long. Once they learn the game, they are going to do their turn of raising up the new players and becoming, the PvP part of the game. Because after you have enough gold and enough cosmetics, you just play to encounter other people. It's part of the ongoing experience of Sea of Thieves. There's different stages as you go. Article number 7. Those who cheat shall be punished. Pirates who show bad form and cheat their crew or others shall surely face bitter hardships and punishments. In other words, cheaters never prosper, and cheaters get banned all the time. And I know right now that's a huge, totally other topic we could talk about. So here's to hoping we see anti-cheat soon with the new framework, and cross your fingers. So now let's talk about the difference between PvP and toxic PvP. Toxic PvP is what you see online a lot. And you've probably encountered it yourself. So there's a terrible misconception in the Sea of Thieves that all PvP is toxic. Now, there are plenty of awful humans out there who think that saying things over the internet has no consequences. I can assure you that reporting actual toxic chats or name calling or behavior to rare will get people banned. They have a zero tolerance policy for that. My buddy's been banned because he name called something that he said, get crapped on. Have a nice day. He got yellow bearded for that because he was part of an interaction with another player who was way worse, like saying terrible, awful things. But they both got yellow bearded. So it's not always going to feel fair, but just know that if you are being good and someone else is being rude to you for no reason other than to be toxic, there are punishments in place for that. But not all PvP is toxic. So when someone sees your ship on the horizon and they think you might have loot to sell, they can come get it. Okay? They're pirates in a pirate thieving game. That's the point. Your loot is not yours. Okay? So someone spawn camping you on your ship until you quit, that is toxic. Okay? And against terms, so it is bannable. So reporting someone for sinking you after stealing your 2 hours worth of loot stacking is not toxic PvP. All right? It's not. So let's not call it that, because that's not toxic. That's you not paying attention. And we'll get into that here in a second. So I'm going to put us in a scenario to illustrate why I think the possibility of PvP is the most important part of the Sea of Thieves experience. So imagine this. You've been gathering loot from a few islands with your emissary flag up. You reach level 5, and everything has been going great. Sure, you fought off a skeleton ship and a megalodon, but it's nothing you can't handle. Then all of a sudden, you spot another player. Okay, they're on the horizon. They might be heading your way, they might not. That feeling that you're feeling right now, because you've seen them and you have loot, that's why possible PvP is essential to the Sea of Thieves experience. You see, you've got plenty of time to sort out your next move because you've kept your eyes on the horizon. You can go turn in to the nearest outpost, or you can risk it all and sail to that other crew, or you can just ignore them and then complain about them sinking you and stealing your loot. You got options. Neither option is wrong other than the complaining because you didn't go turn in when you had the chance. I would say that is wrong. Just go turn it in. If you're worried about someone coming towards you and you're that connected to your loot when it's not yours because you didn't turn it in, pause what you're doing, go turn it in, and then resume your adventure or go fight them or whatever. Heck, you could go turn in and then you could go fight that other crew, like go sail straight to them because you got nothing to lose. But then now you're instigating the PvP. So win or lose, you best keep to the code and have good sportsmanship. If someone sneaks up on you, it's because you weren't taking preventative measures to account for other players. A skeleton ship, a meg, they're never going to sneak up on you. Occasionally, maybe a skeleton ship will aggro on you because they're close to an island, but like they're not going to sneak up on you willingly because they're not programmed to do that. Okay. So it's not the other crew's fault that you didn't see them and that they sank you. So don't yell naughty things at them about their mom. Just pay attention. Like new players, especially, I see this a lot. New players don't watch the horizon. And we're going to talk about watching the horizon again and again in this video, because it's very important to know. You see, we hear about toxic PvP encounters because that's what people post about, right? That's the things that people remember. The average no comms PvP fight, it just gets quickly forgotten. And a positive communication fight, meaning you initiated contact before firing your cannons, in my experience, typically ends with shared grog and an alliance. And going off and doing your own thing. Because you're like, I'm not here to fight today. I just want to play. Some crews and some people are like, cool, we're good with that. Right? Some people refuse to alliance and I don't know what their problem is. But no. I can hear in the comments yelling that PvP is going to kill the game and that Rare needs to just make Safer Seas award the same rates as High Seas. But think about it. That skeleton ship off in the distance, or that megalodon that just attacked you, they don't care about your cosmetics in Sea of Thieves. And Sea of Thieves is a cosmetic game. So what's the point of earning all that gold and all that reputation and all those curses if there's not some possibility that another player's going to see it. And don't say I'll just take screenshots and post it on Twitter. That doesn't count. But trust me, I get it, okay? I've lost 2. I've been outmatched. I've lost 200K worth of loot. And sometimes that happens. But in the long scheme of things, I've had plenty of times where I'm able to turn in loot before having a single PvP threat. Like, not even a ship in sight. But it's that chance of PvP happening that keeps me checking the horizon and keeps my blood pumping during my Sea of Thieves experience. So I've had probably hundreds of encounters at this point with Sea of Thieves. I've been playing since it came out. I mean, we're into year 6 almost here. Most of my PvP encounters have been silent fights or good games. Now I know that some people seem to only run into trash-talking PvPers, and unfortunately your servers are often determined by your location, and for that, I'm sorry. You could always sign up for VPNs and use a VPN, or you could move. I'm kidding, but in all seriousness, as someone who's played a lot of just PvE in Sea of Thieves, I'm grateful for those times that my adventures get interrupted by players. I love meeting most pirates on the seas. Now, for you PvP players, it's just a game, okay? So chill out on the slandering and the swearing, especially on the Ferry of the Damned. You know who you are, so just chill. And for you PvE lovers, enjoy the time that you have without encountering other players. And for the last few minutes, I want to talk to you about preparing for PvP so that when it does happen, you're ready. At least preventative measures to help you if you're not into PvP. Number one thing, and I've mentioned this, and I'm going to cover it again and again, is always watch the horizon. Okay? While you're sailing to your destination, when you get off your ship at an island, after you die to skeletons and respawn on your ship, when you have high ground on an island, watch the horizon. Keep track of where other players are, and it'll save you from most PvP encounters if you're avoiding them. So just watch the horizon. Number 2, in terms of grinding for gold, don't stash loot on your ship. You're not a loot stacker. Don't be a loot stacker until you've got 8 million gold in your bank and nothing to buy. Okay? Or play safer seas to loot stack. Okay? Remember that the loot on your ship isn't yours until you turn it in. And you can't say, PvPers sunk me and stole my loot after I stacked it for 2 hours. It was never your loot to begin with, because you didn't cash it in. And if I have more than 20 pieces of loot on my ship, which happens, I try not to have more than 20. I have to watch that horizon like a hawk until I make it to the nearest outpost. So if you're going to stack loot, you just need to know that the risk is that someone might come and take it. And guess what? It's not yours because you didn't turn it in. Right? I know that's hard to hear. And again, this whole video is very controversial, and I recognize that. But I'm just feeling like I need to say it. Remember that Sea of Thieves is all about highs and lows, meaning successes and failures. You get to choose most of that experience, but other players might become a challenge from time to time. So take each moment as an opportunity and a learning experience. Don't get upset over the loss of a little bit of gold. You will make it back. You'll make the gold back. Don't let somebody's negative, terrible attitude change your feelings about the game. Okay? Other people should not control your emotions. I know that's much easier said than done. Sea of Thieves is a very, very unique game in that its shared pirate world comes with difficulties. It has a very different way to communicate with others than most other games. Most games, you get like a text box in the top corner of the screen and people are talking smack up there, right? But it's a text chat and you can push it aside and you could ignore it. Sea of Thieves has that, but it also has an open mic. And not everyone uses that tool nicely. They need to, but not everybody does. So this open communication field, it definitely comes with its positive and negatives, because the positive side is that you can communicate with people in this game like no other game. And you can literally make friends through the seas. I mean, it's crazy. I have made so many friends, people who subscribe to this channel, because I ran into them on the seas and we had a positive, good experience together. So you make the difference. Be the bigger person. Spread those PvP encounters online, the positive ones. Show people that PvP is not always toxic. We Shall Sail Together is about encounters with other players. So be the good in the world and others will follow. And by all means, pirate in a pirate thieving game. Steal loot for fun. Dig up chests for fun. But don't shame people for playing only PvP or only PvE. And remember, it's not about the gold, it's about the glory. It's about the adventure you have with your crew, with your community, with you and your kid, which if they're little, I would suggest putting them in safer seas because there's some terrible people out there. But have fun. Spread the goodness that is Sea of Thieves. People need to know that not every encounter is this awful thing. And if your experience is always terrible, toxic people, I'm sorry to hear that. That's not my experience. And I hope that my experience is not unique in that. So there you go. There's my only possibly ever controversial video. And thanks for subscribing. Thank you all the new people who are here. Thank you for watching. And I will see you next time.